I tweeted about Fauve, which was horrible. And I was like, I woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't fall back asleep.
Old man, like I saw it. It was horrible.
Brunch, hit it, boys. Welcome to the only podcast that'll give you a recap after the Oscars.
Yes.
We're talking days.
We're midweek.
This is gonna come out on Wednesday. I'm gonna act like we were recording this like right after the Oscars. We're recording this Tuesday evening.
Yes, we are days removed from the Oscars. It is old news by now.
Yeah,
and this episode is coming out later than we're talking about it.
Although we did offer the people. Did you see my tweet?
No.
I said, as the Oscars was going on, I was having a lot of fun. I was really living it up. I tweeted, if Pete and I did an Instagram Live right after the Oscars, would you watch? And a bunch of people responded like, oh, yeah, definitely do that. And
cool, good to know.
Right. Thank you.
I know, you never even asked me if I was interested in that. Didn't see the tweet.
Honestly, it didn't get that far. Just, it got to the... Would you like this stage?
Yes, it was like a what do they call it? Just like a survey.
Yeah, it was focus grouping.
Yeah, focus grouping.
Yeah, I was just putting some feelers out there.
Okay. For next
honestly,
year.
it's okay that it didn't happen because I've got a thing. I got to stop watching. I got to get off Twitter right when an award show ends because there's now 2 shows in a row. I was furious after the Grammys. My favorite album, one album of the year, I was so happy, and instead I couldn't sleep at night because I was so enraged that so many people were like, oh, what? I don't know who Casey Musgraves is. She stinks. Ha, 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 ha. I was very angry. And then after the Oscars, people were like, oh, Green Book, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, did you see the movie? See the movie? You're just trying to get internet points?
For me, it's like the show moves so fast, and typically the Oscars is a slow-moving show. I feel like things move pretty quickly this year.
But they know these award shows end really fast.
Oh yeah,
within the last like
and
3
Green
minutes.
Book, we're out. Bye.
No, like the last 3 minutes, they're like, okay, here's Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Movie. See you later. And what happened?
Right, and like by then I'm like I'm in the mood to argue. I'm in the mood to fight.
Yeah.
And so when the show ends,
you're like,
and it's just so abruptly, you're like, now what do I do? All right, let's fight.
We should have done. Yeah, I mean, I fought after for a little. I wanted to wait maybe a little bit before we got into the Green Book reacts type of discussion because I don't want the only takeaway from the Oscars to be, or I don't want the primary one to be that I'm mad that people don't think for themselves, but I kind of am mad that people don't think for themselves. Like with any of these things, if you see that something's being made fun of or shamed or dragged, I don't know, like I'm not telling you what to do, but like it's a bad thing. It's a bad human quality to pile on something without knowing whether or not you're being nice or mean. And it also kind of makes you incapable of having a conversation if you're more willing to make fun of something that you don't know than to actually learn about it and think, what am I doing here? And I was really mad that people were making like kind of obvious lame jokes about Green Book, not because people might have been offended by Green Book, and I mean, a lot of people were offended by Green Book. Like, I trust a lot of, like, Spike Lee didn't like the movie. He was also nominated against the movie, so I think that there was
a little bias
part of that. But like a lot of smart people, smarter people than me, certainly people with better perspective on race issues than a dumb straight white guy had been offended by it. But also, like, Octavia Spencer put a lot into this movie, you know? So, I don't know. I'm just without having seen anything to say, this movie sucks and this movie's problematic. Like, people came to me the last couple of days saying, like, hey, I actually went out and saw the movie. I didn't think it was that great. I thought some parts made me roll my eyes, but it wasn't the worst thing in the world, which was kind of my reaction to it.
Yeah, same. And it was such a weird feeling because I feel like if any other year this happened, I would have been like, what the fuck, Green Book? Because Green Book was not my favorite movie of the year.
Green Book is, as our friend...
good movie.
Yes. Oh, yeah,
And here's why I could not gather up the energy to be upset that Green Book won is because Bohemian Rhapsody won far too many awards on Sunday night.
The bar was low.
And there was I had a terrified feeling that it might win Best Picture. And so, like, we
were making the Trump comparison. We were like, we are watching the election right now.
Evils.
We are watching the election. We are realizing, wait a second, Trump is winning some states that I didn't think he was going to win. What's going on?
And so when literally by the time I got to the Best Picture announcement, I was like, anything but Bohemian Rhapsody. I wasn't the biggest fan of Roma. Wouldn't have been upset if that had won because, like, Roma is a technical achievement. Sure, whatever, go for it.
Roma did some stuff really well.
You're right,
incredibly, yeah.
Yeah, and Green Book was an enjoyable movie that I liked.
Yeah.
So, like, I could not be that upset. Like, in the grand scheme of things, it's probably one of the, like, my lesser favorite Best Picture winners of the past, like, 10, 15, 20 years. Sure. But I just, like, I was just so terrified that Bohemian Rhapsody might win that I felt okay that Green Book won.
Our friend Brian
and that's the best thing that's the best thing that Bohemian Rhapsody has ever done for me.
Yes.
Make me feel, like, relieved that it did not win Best Picture.
Our friend Brian has called Green Book a TNT movie, which
it's not
I
wrong.
think you
That's
say
not wrong.
Somewhat affectionately, which is if it's on TNT in 5 years, you're going to be a little annoyed that you don't have it on demand and that you have to watch through commercials because you're going to watch it.
Right.
And every year there's like 1 or 2 TNT movies that gets nominated for Best Picture, and if that wins, you're like, hey, it's a movie that I enjoy watching. So I'm fine with that. My reaction as soon as Green Book won was, I'm very surprised. I'm not mad, but I'm not mad. And because, as you said, it wasn't a bad movie. I mean, it was
probably in the middle of the 8 for me, like around there.
I think it was in the, it was anywhere between like 3 to 5 for me.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't 3, but I think it was in like the middle or like very, like in my 8 movies, like there was 3 or 4 of them that were very closely grouped together, and it was one of those.
There was such a big drop off for me. I mean, again, when we did the Best Picture nominee specific episodes, I kind of had the realization, like, Black Klansman was like my second favorite of the Best Picture noms, which said to me, and I didn't come away watching Black Klansman. I thought it was great, but I didn't think
it's a surprise.
Oh man, this is like a front runner type thing. So the middle of the pack, it went for me, and I think for you, from the favorite, which was tippity top elite, to right to the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
So 2 wasn't necessarily that much better than 4, 5, or 6. I was just very relieved, though, to see that.
Yeah,
Bohemian Rhapsody
I would just
win.
like at the end of the day,
when it won editing, we were like, all right, something is up.
Yes, and you know, at the end of the day, I have to feel okay that a good to very good movie won Best Picture, even if it was not like the best in my mind.
And I'm not,
because there was a bad movie in the category.
And I'm not besmirching people who I mean, again, we didn't come away from Green Book saying, like, this was a perfect movie, this was without flaw, I never rolled my eyes. I mean, the big thing that happened with my eyes when I saw Green Book was Mahershala made me cry. At the end, when he shows up, it just made me cry, and I thought that maybe that's part of why I'm conflicted, because it's a part people shitting on something without having seen it, and if you've ever known me, that is something that for some reason has always like really, really gone to my core.
Right.
Side note, I do reserve the right with like superhero stuff to say I haven't seen this, but here are my thoughts on it. But that's cool.
Yeah, but
usually
usually when you give your thoughts on it, it's not
tongue in cheek,
and it's not to contribute to groupthink.
Yeah.
And that's where like a lot of the criticism for Green Book and a lot of these other things comes from. Like, it's people that haven't seen it but want to participate in the groupthink where everybody else is trashing it. So hey, I want to get in on this too.
Did you see the tweet that got 1 million retweets?
No.
And I was like looking at it, I was like, how can I retweet this shitting on it without someone taking it the wrong way and thinking that like
it's problematic.
Right.
Yeah.
Because when you disagree with something that's saying that's like being woke, you're not necessarily disagreeing with the idea of being woke. You're making fun of how hard that person is trying. So someone tweeted, Green Book Book is friends with some of Green Book's best friends are black movies.
Oh, yeah.
So I just quote tweeted it with, like, this sounds funny, and, like, it's a good quip. Like, I saw it and got a little chuckle, and I was like,
just apply it to something that makes more sense.
Yeah. It's like, it was like in, what's it called? When, in Friends from College, when Fred Savage's character says, I guess orange is the new bridesmaids, and it gets huge laughs because it just sounds, it sounds
witty.
Funny, and Keegan-Michael Key's character is the only one that's like, he couldn't explain that right now. That does not make sense. So the group thing got me kind of mad, especially because it involved something kind of near and dear to all of our hearts, which is like being socially aware, and B, how fucking badass Mahershala Ali is. Loved his look. He was amazing. Very distraught to find out. Did you know that he was a basketball player?
Yes. Yeah. Herschel. What was his last name? Herschel something. But yeah, he had a very different name.
God,
he's a Muslim, so he changed his name. I believe.
Someone told us at work the other day.
Herschel Gilmore.
Herschel Gilmore?
Yeah, which is a fucking awesome name.
That like, is an athlete.
You can't beat Mahershala Ali in the name department, but Herschel Gilmore is a pretty fucking awesome name to say.
Herschel Gilmore, let me think. That is Herschel Gilmore is the player who Herschel Gilmore has a very, very high floor. Maybe not the highest ceiling, but if you draft Herschel Gilmore, he's going to play out his entire rookie contract. Yeah. That is...
I feel like Herschel Gilmore is like a college stud.
Yes.
Who sort of becomes like a very serviceable player in the NFL, or like any league. I just have Reggie Bush in my mind.
What sport did he play?
Basketball.
He played basketball?
Yeah. I have Reggie Bush in my mind when I think of Herschel Gilmore, like a college standout who had like a really good career, but like didn't... Well, some people will think he's a bust because he was so good in college.
Oh, I'm used to that fight. Yeah. I'm used to the like, oh, you're calling this person a bust because you didn't know what the expectations were when he came in. He's being what he was supposed to be, and he's awesome at it. Someone at work the other day brought up that he was an athlete, and they were like, hey, let's talk about athletes that we thought could make good actors, because Mahershala Ali apparently was a college basketball player. And I said, oh, man, that makes me feel a lot better about him, because he's not very handsome and not so good at acting. And one of my coworkers was like...
You gotta have a win somewhere.
Right, yeah, exactly. I was like, thank God. And one of my coworkers was like, you don't think he's that good an actor?
That's where he went first?
Like, you think that I could possibly think either of those things about Mahershala Ali?
I'd be offended that he went to actor first. As good as an actor as he is, like if you said Mahershala Ali is not handsome, what the fuck is wrong with you?
We should do a documentary finding people who disagree with just like the most basic thoughts. Like let's find a place in the world where you show somebody a picture of Mahershala Ali and they're like, 7.
You know what we should do is when there are those like, hey, quote tweet this with somebody with your biggest hot take.
Yeah,
and you'd be like, oh, Mahershala Ali's pretty handsome.
Yeah,
like see what the response is.
That
to
happened yesterday. Somebody after the Bruins made a trade for.
I saw that. Hear me out, but here are the lines.
Yeah, like, hear me out. Here are the lines I would do, and I looked at them and I was like,
the best lines.
Those are obviously what the lines would be. Call me old fashioned.
Yeah. I think one thing that I wrote down during the show, and one thing that we need to talk about, is Mahershala Ali entering Octavia Spencer category, because I think he's already there.
Ooh.
2 Best Supporting Actor wins in 3 years.
Well, Octavia also backdoored her way into another one, producing.
Yeah, I know. Unbelievable. But the thing is, I think the only counter argument to the Mahershala Ali one is that he was basically the lead in Green Book.
Yes, right. It was,
like, it's not like he's only taking supporting roles.
Yeah.
Because he just took a leading role and happened to be in the category.
If Green Book had started with Mahershala talking to his assistant saying, hey, let's find me a driver, and you saw him before you saw Viggo, that, like... Viggo won the coin toss because they showed him before they showed Mahershala, because there had to be this build-up of the reveal for Viggo's racist-ass character of, hey, so what's this doctor that I'm going to drive around look like? If they didn't do that type of reveal, we would have seen Mahershala first. He would have won the coin toss for who's the lead actor.
Well, if they'd spoken to Doc Shirley's family, maybe they would have shown him first. But they had what's his name?
But they did. Did you?
Valalonga's family behind it, so they showed him first.
It was either I think it was Valalonga, the kid.
Yeah, after
that said,
the show,
I had no idea that he had any family.
Yeah, man.
Dude.
Like, not the damage control that you want,
right,
for the controversy
surrounding
that movie.
So make no mistake, when when you
there are issues surrounding this movie.
If you want to talk about like the liberties that they took with again though they did a inspired by a true story instead of based on a true story, and I got over that hang up years ago where it would say inspired by a true story. I'd say none of this was true. They took all these crazy liberties, and they would say, oh no. If you do based on, you kind of have to make it real. If you do inspired by, do whatever the fuck you want.
Loose interpretation.
Right. I think they didn't even do inspired by a true story. They did like inspired by friendship.
Yeah, inspired by a true friendship.
Inspired by he played piano, he had a car. Let's make a movie. But yeah, you want to talk about the Valalonga kid being an idiot, ferally flashing people. He wasn't supposed to flash. Oh God,
not talking to Doc Shirley's family.
Yeah,
like,
we'll do that all day.
Issues.
You wanna have a guys are dumb podcast? Let's shit on them, please. Yeah. We're OGs in this regard. But as far as the movie
in a vacuum,
goes,
the movie was a good movie.
I agree, and that's where I would get annoyed with people saying, "Oh, the movie did this," and I'm like, I'm guessing you didn't see it.
Other takeaways: Rami Malek obviously won Best Actor, and
no, great speech.
Yeah, where he didn't thank Freddie Mercury.
He didn't?
No.
Well,
he loosely alluded to Freddie Mercury. Didn't mention him by name. Just fucking.
What if he came out and did Freddie stuff with his own voice? That would have been funny. If he got out and he was like all excited, he was like, hey, everybody. What does Rami Malek sound like? I forget.
He's like a
very careful
proper,
talker. Yeah, he's John Malkovich.
Yeah.
He's got Malkovich inflection.
But more insufferable.
More insufferable. Yeah, see, this sucks. Now I don't like Rami Malek. What the fuck did you guys do?
I didn't like Rami Malek. I decided that I didn't like Rami Malek after I heard him on Fresh Air.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he's just he just sounds so pretentious.
Oh, is he an actor?
Yeah. But
not a cool actor.
Not like Richard E. Grant.
Richard E. Grant is the coolest actor in the world.
Who was wasted at the show, by the way.
Yeah, he should have been.
Yeah, good for him.
He should have been. He's a method actor, and he never stopped. He never stopped playing.
It was his last ditch campaign for Best Supporting Actor.
I'll tell you what, it's a good thing I'm not an actor because I could see myself doing that, playing a character that I don't know whether it's the makeup or the clothes they have you wear. I maybe catching myself in the mirror, being like, I like this character's style.
This is me now.
I'm just going to be this. You know who did that? You know who did that huge time? You didn't see it because you're a good enough guy. You didn't watch Entourage, but Jeremy Piven just decided he was Ari Gold.
Really?
I'm like, dude, you probably make you don't make the money that Ari Gold was making.
From what we know, Jeremy Piven was a bad guy before Entourage.
Really?
So, yeah, Jeremy Piven.
I thought you were going to shit on Rami Malek. I'm like, I'll go back to that.
Jeremy Piven got canceled.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're doing this. I just saw Feidelberg posted it on Instagram. Apparently, KFC Radio cancels something every episode.
Yeah, but it's like
very pissed that we didn't think of that first. Right? Yeah. Very pissed we didn't think of that first. Not to mock. Actually,
I think it started
not to mock canceling people who should be canceled, but certainly to mock cancellation culture.
Yeah, but that's what they're doing because John Wayne got canceled 40 years after he died on a very it was the Playboy interview and somebody, quote unquote, dug it up. That Playboy interview's been out there for years.
Yeah,
and people were like, look how shitty this guy
Lexus
is.
Nexus. Dude, that shit's there.
So, other takeaways.
You know what? That's similar, though, to my thing a while ago where if you're going to shit on every guy, age, whatever, and back, someone's got stories about your dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And your dad's John Wayne, and he's a huge racist. Shallow was performed at the show. Everybody went nuts. I know you wanted to talk about that.
Boy, did I.
Yes.
Banner night for people not thinking for themselves. And we've discussed a bit of that with the Green Book stuff. But the best tweet of the night, I'll talk about the best social thing of the night in a second. That came on Instagram. Remind me to do it because Sometimes you forget to get around to topics. Also, to quickly explain the John Police thing from last episode, I brought up John Police because when we get new listeners who really dig our stuff and are kind of always engaging with us, they might not know. I'm guessing they haven't listened to every episode. So
you'd be surprised. A lot of people have gone back and done done the whole thing. Yeah.
And we haven't been canceled?
Nope.
Hey, pretty good for us.
What would we get canceled for?
Yeah, we came on the scene being like, hey,
guys are
we
hot.
don't listen to podcasts, but we've had enough of not talking about how handsome guys are. Also, another thing about guys, they all suck. Let's have a podcast. Hit it, boys.
Up on the rooftop.
Yeah. I'm going to make a video explaining that.
Today's episode of Brunch is brought to you by The Athletic. The Athletic is a subscription-based publisher of smarter sports coverage for diehard fans. The model is simple. No ads, no pop-ups, and no autoplay videos. Instead, readers get in-depth coverage written by journalists who know their teams and leagues inside and out. Today, Brunch listeners can get 40% off using promo code BRUNCH. That makes a subscription only $2.99 a month, which is an unreal deal for all the content that you get from The Athletic. So, again, if you want to subscribe, use promo code BRUNCH to be a part of the future of sports journalism. $2.99 a month for that subscription. You really, really, really can't beat it. So go, download, whatever, subscribe. $2.99 a month using promo code BRUNCH. Do it.
The best tweet of the night was Randy tweeted, "Oh my God, did you see that Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga were looking at each other when they were performing? Oh my God, they have eyes." Thank you, Randy, because it was insufferable. It was a lot.
Let me tell you something. I was guilty of that.
You got the benefit of the doubt.
I cashed in on the retweets.
Right. You know what? Hey, let's make no lie about it, you know?
Oh, yeah. It was a shameless social play, and I did it. And
did you do like a 10 times Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper were looking at each other? Also, shouts out to ourselves for our Oscars preview video, which was 8 times Octavia Spencer introduced Father John Misty during an Oscars scene. That one rolled off the tongue.
I liked that you asked me, when you sent me the video, you said, hey, is the Spanish part problematic? And it was just dubbing over.
But
it was just a Spanish dub.
Yeah.
How is that problematic?
I guess my problematic fears were up. No, because I had the conversation with somebody recently. At some point, someone is going to accuse someone recreationally speaking another language of like appropriation or something like that.
Interesting. I was like, wow.
That's going to happen at some point.
Yeah, I'm sure. And
like if someone's like drunk and they're speaking Spanish instead of like whatever everyone else is speaking there. Like if like a kid, if like a 10th grader who takes like level 1 Spanish or whatever is like, hey, nosotros amigos, blah blah. Someone's going to be like,
cultural
dude,
appropriation.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, but I thought the video was great. I think it did somewhat well on social. I expected it to do better, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Because it was I laughed out loud. But it's so very niche.
But we redefine though what's, and maybe it's one of us more than the other. You might be able to guess what necessarily means doing well on
That's true,
Twitter.
Yeah.
We caught up with our dear beautiful boys in Houndmouth last week. They were in town, and I was saying to Shane is my favorite Twitter account in the world because he's like he's like my Twitter brother. We don't tweet exactly the same.
But you're cut from the same cloth.
Right, exactly. We are cut from the same Twitter cloth, which is tweets for ourselves that maybe 8 to 10 people will get, and they won't be able to do anything the rest of the week because they like the tweet so much. Not for the masses at all, for ourselves and maybe a couple of other people. Also, did not know that Matt from Houndmouth is on Twitter. Give him a follow.
He followed me this week.
He did?
Yeah.
Nice.
Pretty excited about it.
Give him a follow at, I think it's Malt Myers, but his name is Chill Lord. And I regret very much not knowing when we interviewed them and talked about Shane's Twitter that he was on Twitter. because
you pumped up his Twitter so much,
right? Like, and Matt has like responded to my tweets before, and I was just like, "Oh, this guy
really likes Houndmouth."
No, not necessarily Houndmouth tweets, but I forget what it was. Oh, it was one of my not popular tweets. I tweeted my kingdom for some fruit punch, and I think Matt liked it or something, and then I responded to it and said, "Damn, this blew up." Yeah, and then Matt responded to that, and I was like, who is this Matt? We got a police on our hands? And I clicked on it, and I was like, oh shit, that's Matt Myers. And his Twitter is hilarious as well, but no one is better on Twitter than Shane Cody from Houndmouth. Most of his tweets are about how Bradley Cooper is limitless. Yeah. Like, Bradley Cooper is limitless is like his smocking tweet.
Yeah.
So
he was like, oh man, what can't Bradley Cooper do? He has no limits. #, limitless.
And if you scroll through his Twitter, a lot of it is like Bradley Cooper is limitless, y'all. # limitless. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yes.
What's it? Oh, you know what? I think I've seen
Pretty
it too.
Pretty decent movie.
Yeah, it was fine. He takes a pill and then he becomes limitless.
And then they run out of the pill and he's like dying because he can't get the pill. And then he needs to get the pill. And like the Russian mob has the pill. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, no, the stuff though about Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper looking at each other was a little much.
Okay.
Like, they're actors. They were performing. They were looking at each other. It was fine though.
Great fucking performance.
Nice performance. Yeah, Bradley was a little shaky to start off, but I liked that though. That was earnest.
Yeah,
he didn't pull an Adele and restart the song. And that's right, folks. Bradley Cooper and Adele on the same level.
I also, it's somewhat endearing that he just can't get the voice back. He's trying so hard to get the voice back. And and then he just ends up sounding like a Pearl Jam cover band.
Speaking of music, I think it's time that we acknowledge, ladies and gentlemen, Ludwig Gorannson is having a moment.
He sure is.
He's having a moment.
Yeah.
He keeps going up. He keeps accepting awards.
He's never ready for it.
Donald Glover wasn't there to accept his award for This Is America. Shouts out to the Lights Camera Podcast boys for being idiots. They're usually not idiots. But they tweeted something. It was a picture of Ludwig Göransson. It was like, this man has had a hand in like some of Childish Gambino's music and the Black Panther music. And I quote tweeted with like,
he wrote and
by saying he wrote and produced, like he made it.
Yeah.
Let's not say like he was there in the room when it happened.
This is not an executive producer credit.
Right, yes, these are his songs. Yeah. He's awesome. Love him.
Yeah, my favorite thing about him is that he keeps winning awards and he's never prepared for them. He's just like, oh my god, I can't believe I won this.
If
like,
Swedish
really,
people
man?
had the word shucks, he would say shucks a lot. I don't think he says shucks, though.
Also really not prepared was Olivia Colman. But is becoming the most endearing person in the world.
Yes.
America's sweetheart.
Yeah.
And
Olivia Colman is the
God.
new Gritty, where everyone has just jumped on. We love this thing. If you don't love this person, you're the worst. My Twitter thing, before it became a bunch of people who didn't see Green Book guessing which jokes would be funny about Green Book, was all Olivia Colman is the greatest. Yeah. I love Olivia Colman, and it made me so happy.
And thank fucking God, too, for her own benefit, because people would have murdered her. Had she not been the best, because everybody was rooting for Glenn Close.
True. Close. If she came up and was like, whatever, it's all chill, it doesn't matter.
Like, fuck that lady.
Smoke weed every day.
It would be like two camps. It would be, wow, Glenn Close should have got this, or Lady Gaga should have got this.
I'd like to thank Olivia Colman for the first time ever. I won a bet. Because I bet on Olivia Colman to win Best Actress.
Same. I won $300 at the Oscars. So
did you bet a lot of money?
Yeah, I bet $175.
Okay.
And so I guess I didn't really win $300. I guess I won like $130 or whatever. But hey, I'm plus $130.
I bet $60 total and won $42. I didn't know that when you win a bet, you
get your money back.
Also get your money back. Didn't know that. I bet $60, won one bet that was going to win me $32, and I went to check my account. It said $42.50, and I was all ready to call them and say
bet?
They made a mistake.
Was it a 50-cent bet?
No.
You said $42 and you wanted $42.50.
$42.50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what was on top of that?
I bet $10 to win $32.50.
Okay. Yeah, you get your money back. And I won with Olivia Colman. I wish that I won with Melissa McCarthy because I would have won $2,000.
That was a bet that was one that I thought about putting down. Like, how much did you bet on?
I think either 20 or 30 to win $2,000.
So, I love the ambition. You understand?
Yeah,
that was a huge sucker's bet.
Yeah, for sure, but it was worth the risk.
Yes, but no, but I'm saying it was a sucker's bet in that there actually was 0.0 chance. Like I thought about putting like $5 or $10 on it for the same reason, but
the Oscars are so unpredictable that like you never really know.
Yeah.
So I did it just for the hopes, and I ended up like was able to cancel it out anyway.
I bet on Lady Gaga as my you never know bet because she had crazy odds. And what else did I bet on Bradley Cooper as a super dark horse. I only really bet on dark horses, and Olivia Colman was the one that I was actually pretty sure was going to happen. Everyone's so mad, by the way, about Glenn Close, or so sad for her. So she's been nominated, seven times? Seven times for Best Actress?
Most times of anybody that's been nominated and hasn't won.
So she's been nominated 7 times for Best Actress. That makes her one of the best actresses ever.
Yeah.
That makes her incredible.
It's like it's sort of like the Tom Brady
getting to the Super Bowl
thing.
versus winning a Super Bowl. Yeah, if you're going to the Super Bowl every year, it means that you're insane.
It's better to lose in the Super Bowl than it is to win or to lose in the conference championship.
Right. I mean, who's going to go down as a better actress? And this is by no means to besmirch this actress whom we both love. Who's going to go down as a better actress? Emma Stone or Glenn Close?
Well, Emma Stone's career's not done yet.
Right,
man.
that's true. She's just getting started.
Pick another old person.
No, but I'm saying someone who has won versus somebody who has been nominated for it a million times. Like Regina King was an example of the one was so overdue because she's been an awesome actress forever, but she wasn't getting nominated. So this one was she looked gorgeous, by the way.
Oh yeah.
She also shouts out to well, I lost track of who did people get mad at because he helped her get up the stairs, and then they said that it was so great that he helped her up the stairs, and then people got mad calling it great.
I have no idea.
He's a superhero. He plays a superhero. Chris something.
Chris Evans.
Is it Chris Hemsworth?
Hensworth.
Yeah,
a lot of hens.
Yeah,
he's worth a lot of hens.
One of the Chris's helped her up the stairs
Evans.
because she had a very long dress.
Okay,
and then people were like, "It's not that big a deal that they helped her up." And it was like, no one said it was a big deal. You're just being a nice guy. Yeah. So the best Twitter moment was Randy mocking the Gaga and Cooper reaction. The best Instagram moment, if I could save somebody else's Instagram thing, and maybe you can, I just don't know how to use anything. Lena Waithe was posting herself just watching the Oscars, and it was great because watching Lena Waithe is like the Questlove of film and television, in that in addition to being elite at making it, they just know everything about it. So it's
insane how much Lena knows,
about TV and stuff. Yeah,
it's like you are one of the busiest people in the world.
Right.
How the fuck do you have time to just take in all this other stuff,
right,
and have good takes on all of it?
So as much as you love
Bohemian Rhapsody,
as much as you love the art that they make, you just appreciate their perspective so much. So if there were a magazine for which Lena Waithe wrote a weekly or monthly arts column, I would for sure read it because I cannot get enough of what she thinks about. Even when we've had her on to talk music, she just knows everything. So I love her perspective. She was just posting herself watching the Oscars and reacting to it and everything, and it was, of course, amazing. But the best part was when Michael B. Jordan and Tessa Thompson were presenting. They showed them, and Lena said, she said, "Yay, the booze!" And the way that she said the booze, it was just the most amazing thing in the world. And maybe you had to see it, but I responded to it, and I was like, "God, you're a fucking legend."
Guess you had to be there.
It was great. If anybody watched your story, they know what I'm talking about.
My best social moment was Jason Momoa, I believe is how you say his last name, just acting like a child at a fucking candy store.
What's that guy's story again?
He was in Game of Thrones, and he's the new Aquaman.
Oh, so.
Yeah. So he's not up your alley, but he's very handsome, and he was just backstage having the time of his life.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the short films. Did you watch the short films?
No, I didn't end up getting around to that.
I watched the short films.
You didn't really sell it for me.
No?
No.
Somebody did. So I tweeted about Fauve, which was horrible. And I was like, I woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't fall back asleep.
Old man, like I saw it. It was horrible.
That reminds me. We went to Atlanta Breakfast Club. Awesome place, right?
Yeah.
So my coworker who told me about it took his family there, and he said it's the best, but it's got a really long line. And I was like, yeah, whatever, we'll wait. He said that one of his children was basically like an old man. He was like, this is so unreasonable. Why? What are they going to give me that's going to be worth it? And it was just, it's the most adorable thing.
I think that is, I hate children, but I think that's my favorite kind of children.
Children and old people do act very, very similar.
They're just big fucking babies.
Right.
They're so annoying.
The John Mulaney thing. He said that when he was a kid at recess, he was like an old, no longer sexually active gay man. Somebody, so I tweeted about how horrible Phobe was and how I couldn't sleep. It ruined my life. And someone responded to me and was like, oh my God, it's so terrible. Like, I wish that I at least had warning going in. Oh my God, so terrible. Someone responded, how can I watch this?
There is like a what is it called? A morbid curiosity for a lot of things like that.
Oh, man.
I wanted to know what you were talking about, but I was going in with the like, in my head, I know this is going to be terrible.
Do you want me to tell you what it was?
Yeah.
All right, first I'll tell you about Madre, because I watched that and Phobe back to back. And
way too many mom movies coming out now. So there's Mother, there's Ma with Octavia Spencer, there's Madre.
Tell you what, Ma's going to be a lot better than Madre.
Okay.
I mean, no, Madre was actually amazing. Madre, I stopped watching them, so I didn't see the one that won, because after I watched those two...
Too much for me.
Deej out, man. Madre was... it's in Spanish. A woman is with her mother in her apartment. They're getting ready to go out, and she gets a call, and it's from her 8 to 10-year-old son, and he's with his father. They're divorced, and he says, hey, I'm at the beach. Dad went away for... he said that he went to the car, but I can't find him, and there's no people around. And she's like, well... which beach?
It's in Spanish. There's a child who's by himself at the beach, and the parents are separated.
Yeah.
Sounds a lot like Roma.
Yes, right. A lot of beach. Yeah, huge year for Spanish beach films.
You sure you didn't watch Roma again?
No. I'll tell you. That's what happens on the beach in Roma. Cakewalk compared to this.
Really?
Yeah. So she's like, well, are there other people at the beach? And he says no. And she says, well. Are you in France? You guys, I know that you guys were going to go to France. Are you in France? And he says, I don't know. She's like, well, are there any signs that maybe the kid can't read? Basically, he has no way of describing to her where he is. And she calls the cops, and they're a very little help. And as she's on the phone with her son, she can hear that the battery's low. And as the battery's getting low, he says, oh, wait, I see somebody. There's a man. And she says, is he with anybody? No. What's he doing? He's having a piss. That's what the subtitle says. He's having a piss. And she says, well, what's he doing now? He's walking towards me. She says, okay, start running. He says, why? She's like, just run. Just please run and hide. So the kid runs into the woods. He hides, and you can still hear the battery's getting low. And
I have anxiety already.
He says, I was drinking coffee as I was watching this. After coming from spin class, I had my heart was just exploding. And he says, oh, he found me. He's here now. And says, what's he doing? What's he saying? And then the phone's hung up on. And that's the end of it.
That's the end of it?
Yes.
What the fuck?
It is the most anxiety-inducing thing I've ever seen in my life.
Wow, okay.
And I think it was mostly done in one scene. I mean, again, it was Oscar-worthy. It was
crazy.
Incredible. But
between Roma, that thing, and...
Roma was not... Actually, no, Roma had some big ones. I don't want to
No, Roma,
discredit.
Roma, that one, and Us. Bad movie, bad year for kids at the beach.
Yes. Jury's out on Us. Who knows? Maybe that has a happy ending. Haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, but it looks like bad stuff happens at the beach.
Right.
From the trailers.
The beach, very overrated.
Yes,
beach
for sure. We've been over
Just
this.
get a pool. No, so I finished watching Madre. Do you want to do an ad read?
Yeah, let's do an ad read real quick. Have you ever had someone come up to you and say, "You smell amazing. What cologne are you wearing?"
Yes, I wear Bayrum.
Ooh, there you go. Well, whatever scent you may be wearing, you have good taste and you know what you like.
Cologne, huh?
But at the same time, your great taste is expensive and you end up with a shelf full of half-used bottles. Or if you've been wearing the same cologne that you were gifted years ago because going out to buy one is a hassle. With Scentbird, though, it's a new way to have great taste without breaking the bank. Whether it's Versace, Gucci, or Dolce & Gabbana, Scentbird.com keeps you smelling good month after month. They actually sent us some cologne. Did they send you some colognes? I sent you the email. I forwarded you the email. You could have chosen any one that you wanted.
Ooh.
They sent me a handful of them. Been using them.
I don't do emails.
Yeah, I know. You don't do a lot of communication
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
But I've been, it's been a weird experience because I usually use the same cologne over and over and over and over again for like years and years. So I've been using these new colognes and I feel like a stranger to myself. Like I'll just like lift an arm or something and I'll get a whiff and I'll be like, who's here with me? And it's just me wearing a different cologne. Scentbird is a luxury fragrance subscription service, so you can mix up your cologne or your perfume routine, and it's a way for you to discover new colognes without having to buy an entire bottle. You can experiment and find out which ones you like. Scentbird has more than 450 designer brands for you to choose from each month, so you can try the brands that you want. It's the real deal. They got some crazy prestige brands like Gucci, Tom Ford, Kenneth Cole, Burberry, Prada, and more. Choose the cologne that you want. They'll send you a 30-day supply. That's 120 sprays. So maybe it'll last you less.
Good luck getting through that.
Yeah, maybe it'll last you less. Maybe it'll last you more, depending on how much you like to spray. So,
and fellas, more is more.
That is true.
If you think that it smells good on you, why stop at one spray? Keep going. Let them smell the hell out of it.
And if you want to smell great, we've got an exclusive offer for you. And you can get 50% off your first month. That's only $7.50 for your first fragrance. Boom, what a deal. Go to scentbird.com/brunch and use code brunch for 50% off the first month. Again, that's Scentbird, SCENT for you dummies who can't spell, bird.com/brunch, which is BRUNCH, for you to try your first cologne or perfume for $7.50. Sign on, smell amazing. That's their actual real tagline.
You can get the official
brunch
smell,
cologne.
the brunch smell, by just see if they have anything that's basically Bayrum. And if there's something like that, then you can use Scentbird to smell
like brunch.
Similar.
Smell like your favorite podcast.
Yeah, smell like your favorite podcast and get a Bayrum type of thing. So I get through Madre and I'm like, thank God. Got through that. I survived. Now, let's get this next one in here.
Let's get an easy watch.
Yes, exactly. Nice, cool little...
Cleanse the palate.
Yes. And then Fauve came on. Fauve is two kids. It's a French-Canadian thing.
Already not a fan.
Two kids playing around. They're in like an abandoned train. They're just running around in like the woods and nature, and they're screwing around. They're throwing rocks at each other. Just classic, like two little shitheads horsing around. And I was getting like PTSD remembering how much being a young boy sucked, but that's what they would do. They would throw you would just walk up to me and throw a rock at me, and then I would say, "What are you doing? You've thrown a rock at me," and then you would call me a pussy. That's what
childhood.
So, and that's why I am so on board with these Gillette ads that are trying to correct the dumb things, because really, men are dumb for sure, but boy does it start by being the dumbest possible people as children. So they're running around, they're pushing each other, they're being little tough guys,
little shitheads,
exactly. And they see they end up in some sort of construction area. They're out in the middle of nowhere, but there's like a bunch of like I don't know what it's called when there's like big like hills of stuff that looks like there's construction, right? You'll see some gravel, you'll see those types of things. So they're running around
like
there.
Landfill kind of things.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
maybe.
whatever.
It's not important.
Let's sit on this for a little while.
So they see a construction vehicle coming, and they run away from it, and they're like, "Oh, because we're not supposed to be here, be in trouble." So they run into this like big gray area that it's kind of surrounded by nothing. They climb down to the bottom of it, and it's this big gray area.
Bet it's a dumping ground.
And one of the kids is he steps in a thing, and he has a hard time getting his foot out of it. And
Cement.
he's like, "What is this? And his friend's like, "Oh, come on, you're faking." And he's like, No, I really can't get my foot out of it. So, and that's classic young man stuff where you're like, "Yo, like the game is over. Like I'm actually in danger here. Can you help me?" And you don't know if they're going to trick you or whatever. So the kid helps him out, and then the kid who got helped out pushes that kid into like the middle of it, not on the edge of it. And the kid's like, "Wait a second, I can't get out. Like you were just on the edge of it. I can't get out." And the kid who was just in the cement is acting like, "No, you'll be fine. I got out. Whatever, you'll be fine." And the kid's sinking into it. So as the kid is now like he's like up to his nipples probably or breasts, whatever, in the cement. Important detail.
Child breasts.
The other kid's like, "Oh shit, I got to go get help." So he runs out and he eventually gets to the top and gets to the construction thing. And at this point, I'm like, dude, if that kid didn't get out by now, like nothing that you're going to do is going to help. No one's in the vehicle.
Oh no.
So the kid runs back down.
Dead. Presumably
dead.
Oh,
there is nothing. The kid sunk into cement and fucking died.
Yeah, so that thing's bullshit because as a young man, I've been there. As a former young man, there is nothing more scary than the thought of quicksand.
Right, that's what I was
like
thinking.
One of the biggest childhood fears.
Yeah.
If you ever
just
encountered cement, which is basically quicksand, you would be so shook that you would never push your buddy into that shit after being in there yourself.
No, but it was. I mean, I guess you'd have to see it, but it was just. It wasn't malicious. It was under the guise of like I fell in it and I got out. Now I'm gonna throw you in it. But he just threw him too far into it. He threw him into the middle of it,
depths.
Thinking, I don't know, just being dumb. And this is under the thing of very toxically masculine thing. We never learned how to use that. But I think this is right. The whole boys will be boys thing. It was classic boys will be boys behavior.
Just
and I didn't even
your friend with cement.
It was so upsetting that I didn't even have time to think about how much I hate how guys are. That's how upsetting it was. You just watch a fucking kid die. It was the worst. And apparently, that's what short films are. They try to get as much. Well, they try to shake you.
Yeah, so I get that. Like it's supposed to pack a punch.
Yes.
So,
but
they
pack
clearly
a punch
did.
like the animated ones. Pack a punch like the animal behavior one. That one was funny. One Small Step. I loved that one. That was adorable. It packed a punch by punching me right in the good feels.
Yeah, there you go. So any
I'm not watching those. I'm not watching short films again.
You're not doing it next year?
No.
Any final Oscars takeaways?
Ludwig Gorannson is having a moment.
He sure
discuss
is,
that?
man.
In all seriousness, he I think is one away from an EGOT.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah.
Right? What's the one?
Once someone has a Grammy and an Oscar, you're like, they probably have one of the other ones.
If you're a music person, you can get a Tony. That feels kind of easy to get.
I think Tony's the last one that he has that he needs to have.
Get.
Unless, wait, no,
Well, Emmy is a super easy one to get. You can get that. Anybody can get an Emmy in their sleep.
But he has an Emmy. So what Emmy?
So it's got to be a Tony. It's got to be a Tony.
Well, I think what's his face? Mark Ronson is a Tony away. So let me see what Ludwig Gorannson needs. Maybe we can maybe we can get him one.
Yeah, okay. We'll brunch the musical.
Yeah, Ludwig Gorannson, EGOT.
All right. While you look that up, I want to discuss Crashing.
Yes.
Because we have not checked in with Crashing in a couple of weeks, and oh man,
cool development.
Let me tell you, this last episode was really something. I think that was the best episode of the season.
I was texting you at 2 a.m. on Sunday saying like,
what
do you mean you haven't watched this yet? Watch it now.
I had to watch the True Detective finale first, so I watched that first. But Yeah, man. And I want to pat ourselves on the back here because we were on the This Girl Sucks train early.
No, we were on the jury's out train.
But we were on the scent.
There were harmful
qualities.
Were
on the scent.
There were yes, definitely. There were,
and not a lot of people, it feels like not a lot of people were identifying the fact that this girl might suck.
Right, because this was being positioned. It was easy to mistake this as Pete has fallen in love, but in reality it was Pete's experiencing a new thing. He's got this like hot, crazy sex girlfriend that I don't think he's usually having those.
Yeah, and he was in the honeymoon phase, but there were definitely red flags where, and like the biggest one that stood out to me in the earlier episodes was when he brought her to the comedy club, and obviously they went through that whole like sitting in the front row, and then she was getting super defensive with like the group of comedians. She
didn't trust him to make his own decisions. She was right. We said that she was ordering for him.
Yes, she was ordering for him, and that came up again.
Tip of the iceberg.
That came out again. But that actually did come up again this week. Like one of her defining characteristics is that she is super, super defensive for Pete, where he does not need her to speak for him.
I don't think it was necessarily that. I think that was part of the thing.
Definitely part of it. There was so many
all over the place. So she was going to explode with anything. I don't necessarily think that Allie hit a nerve by making a joke that could necessarily be construed as she was honestly showing signs of what I don't know what mental illness it is, so I won't say it, but like. But you get so irrationally paranoid about things.
Super paranoid and super
like
insecure.
You hear someone make a joke about a penis, and you're like, this joke has to be about the penis that affects me, you know?
Right.
And
I sort of get it in the sense like, okay, she's not a part of the comedy community, and obviously like comedians poke fun at each other. They have roast battles, for God's sakes, where like they say very intimate, personal shit, but it's for the sake of comedy. So even if Allie was making a joke about Pete's dick, like that's fair game. It's like part of her life, and it becomes part of her.
And like, she's leaving it vague enough,
right? It's not like I dated Pete Holmes and his dick is so small. But like, so she kept it vague enough. And
that joke wouldn't have landed because no one knew who Pete Holmes was.
That's true.
But yeah, she was a nightmare.
She did Death Voice, man.
Yes.
She did Death Voice. She did
that was when I texted you.
The Happy Death Day Death Voice.
That was when I texted you.
Death Voice.
She was horrible, offensive.
That was real like.
That was it was one of those vintage. Was that drunk behavior so bad that it's irredeemable? Like, could a relationship move on after that?
No.
I would have
There was about 3 different times where I was expecting Pete to be like, okay, well, this
has
is
to
over.
Be done. Yeah.
And he didn't. And like he was very nice and very kind to her the entire time, which, I mean, it's Pete, whatever. That's not super surprising. But I would, like, if that was me in that situation, I would have ended at like 3 to 5 different points, or I just would have cried because she was being so fucking mean.
Well, I just would have said we have to leave or something like that. But that would have turned into, because we've all been around drunk people, where when you tell a drunk person who is maybe rubbing some people the wrong way, hey, we should leave, that's not necessarily always going to be super well received. Yeah. So it's all to pave the way for the Pete and Allie reunion.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the way that it's done that.
Yeah.
They've gone their own ways. Pete has gotten to be his corny cornball corny fest, and Allie is becoming an actual real comedian. And I
wonder if it is going that way, though, because did you know that Pete and Allie dated in real life?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they dated before he met his wife, and his wife sort of looks like the new girlfriend. So, like, if they're sticking to the script of Pete's life, I wonder if they, like, end up working through that, because obviously at the end of the episode, she's in his bed, and we got to see how that plays out.
Yeah.
But, like, she's not doing herself any favors at this point, so I wonder how closely they stick to the script. But there are definitely indications
I mean, Kat is forcing Pete into a flirty friendship with Allie.
Yeah, and Allie is reciprocating.
Allie's doing that for sure.
Yeah, and so
aggressing even.
I texted you at the end of the episode. It ends with like a shot of Pete's phone, and Allie's texting him, and there are some flirty texts.
Because the text that you were talking about, or that you said like there were a bunch of texts. One was the text from the previous episode.
The one was the picture,
right? The previous one, and it said like "Hey you" or something like that.
Yeah, but there was a different date under that one. So she sent the picture as a standalone, and then she sent like "Hey you," period.
Yeah.
Thinking about you. And then
got it.
There's a separate text.
And then it was the new ones.
That was basically like, hey, you.
The Trump one. It said, thinking of you with the Trump thing.
No, that was a separate one.
No, there was, no.
Oh, really?
There was one thing. There was one unanswered text.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so.
Aside from the picture that she sent that made Kat all mad.
Yeah, okay. And so they're planting a seed that Allie still has feelings for Pete via the text. And I think it's pretty obvious that Pete still cares about Allie.
If I was dating Allie's boring-ass boyfriend, I'd have feelings for Pete Holmes, too.
I know. And I think it's a situation where we're going to find out that, Allie really doesn't like her boyfriend.
Oh, no.
She's forcing herself.
Be like that couple doesn't have sex storyline.
Yeah. She's forcing herself to, or she's convincing herself that she really likes her boyfriend because he's so nice. And by all indications, seems like a pretty nice guy. Yeah. But, there's not a lot of chemistry or shared interest there.
Or a brain there.
Yeah. Where, he does not get comedy.
She's just a simple dummy, and I don't think that could work with someone whose job it is to overthink everything.
Right. So, I'm interested to see where it goes from here. But, man, they really went for it on the last episode by making Kat a pretty bad person.
Yeah, a nightmare. I like that Leaf's still around. Never totally get rid of Leaf.
And I also love the interaction between Leaf and Kat in this last episode because she's I think my favorite exchange was she goes, does your bullshit really work on anybody?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, it's not my position to say. Yeah. That was such a good response.
Leaf is a great character, and they probably had to overdo it with him early on in the series, and I think we all grew tired of the Pete and Leaf episodes or Pete and Leaf scenes, but now whenever they have interactions, it's funny because
it's just a reminder that hey, Pete's the guy who fucked Pete's wife while they were married is still in his life and a supportive force,
right? And thinking that he's his sexual tour guide or something, where Pete has not at all asked for that.
He thinks that he's Pete's liberator.
Yeah,
he's I
saved you. Yeah, Pete is forever indebted to me. It's an unspoken thing. He doesn't say it, but we both know.
It's awesome. I still think that I think that the past two episodes have been a little rough. Maybe they weren't bad, but I think the beginning of the season
tough watches, intentionally tough watches.
Yeah, the episode where they visit the mom is just so.
Oh yeah,
uncomfortable.
My notes for Crashing has said nightmare a lot because Kat has become a nightmare, but Pete's mom is a nightmare and just very, very inappropriate. The stuff that Kat said about her about that to Pete, where she says it is a form of abuse, and Pete's like, no, I don't think it's abuse, and she's like, yes, it is. Yeah. She is correct.
Yeah.
That is, the abuse is obviously a very big
heavy
word to throw around, but it doesn't always mean overt being mean or being,
malicious. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just harming.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's her parenting style is harmful. And I think, it certainly rubs off on Pete where he coddles people too much.
Yeah.
And it's just such a fucking immature baby sometimes. And that's because of the way that his mom raised him. And I think that it shows that him and Kat have such contrasting personalities that they're going to rub each other the wrong way. His mom and Kat rubbed each other the wrong way.
Yeah.
And I just think that eventually it's going to be the same between Pete and Kat.
Well, another thing to consider is that Ludwig Gorannson is having a moment.
In the suburbs I learned to drive, and they told me we'd never survive. Grab your mother's keys, we're leaving. You always seem so sure that one day we'd fight in a suburban war. You're part of town against mine, so we're standing on the opposite shore. But by the time the first bombs fell, we were already bored. We were already bored. Sometimes I can't believe it. I'm moving past the feeling. Sometimes I can't believe it. I'm moving past the feeling again. Blue jean baby, LA lady. Oh, she's a seamstress for the band. I wish my band had a seamstress. Pretty-eyed, pirate smile. Too bad you'll marry a music man. Oh, ballerina, you must have seen her dancing in the sand. Oh, and now she's in me. How does that work? Always with me. Tiny dancer in my head. Tiny dancer. Oh, I like your one piece. I like your one piece too. But how it feels so real, lying here and no one near but only you. And you can hear me, and I say softly, oh, slowly, oh, hold me closer, tiny dancer. Got the headlights on the highway, I'm playing my nipples, rolling down in sheets of linen. Oh, you had a busy day today. Merry Christmas, Satan. Hold me closer, tiny dancer. Oh, got the headlights on the highway. Oh, lay me down in sheets of linen. 100-pound motherfucker. You had a busy day today. Oh, I'm gonna get some free pizza. Oh, can I have one of those fancy martinis with foam on the top? I got my brand new C-Con. Oh,